Welcome! So this is WoW with a difference today, or Silent Moon with a difference, because I'm inviting one of my amazing wowzers to join me in this wonderful chit chat, and it's Catherine, who has actually been voted by Facebook, and obviously that matters. Facebook have voted her my top lady. Hi Lorraine, yeah, I'm glad you're here. Now, we've had a test to make sure that we can invite Catherine, and we've done this numerous times. Okay, so just be a little bit patient with me while I do this. It's gonna be you next week, Lorraine. Right, there you go, add her in. Bring Catherine on camera. Simple, Catherine. Let's hope so. Yeah! Can you hear me?
I can. Oh. I caught the bit where you said I'm top fan. Yeah.
I had to say that. Facebook has said and has declared you as the top fan. So you know who's gonna beat it?
They're not wrong. Yeah, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. Top fan. Either though, I am top fan or I've got a serious addiction.
Right, okay, that's not to sell here. Not what I put in those bottles. Anyway, it's a very big dandelion moment as we will be declaring what's out tomorrow. Those of you that don't read my newsletter, well, I just have. So there you go. Nice colour, bit of yellow. Yes. God, Joel's here, Lorraine's here, Meredith's here. Brilliant. Okay, so just a little bit of a backstory. Catherine joined. Can you tell me how many years ago? Me.
You say years, plural. I joined in December 2017.
God, was it that long ago? Wow.
Yes.
So she joined, and basically Catherine has been a full-on. She's basically done everything. She's done the one-to-ones. She's done all WoWs. She's in all the support groups, and she's the prime person, along with the person we've got on next week. No names mentioned. She's just sat here, Lorraine. That has done
Hi, Lorraine. Hi, Joel.
Okay, so these are prime people, other than Joel, to actually big me up in what I do. And so why not bring me on? Why not bring them on and let's talk? Sorry about my hands. I have got something on my hands, but it's not coming off. Anyway, so I have written a little bit here because we want to try and keep it to about 25 minutes. It's not always possible with Catherine and I because we get into some giggles, we get into some laughter. We might have to check your comments after and we will, but Joel will be on guard with those. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for being such an amazing customer. Thank you for being such an amazing client. And thank you for being, I hate that word, and thank you for being such an amazing warrior, because Catherine has basically changed her own life by working with me, of course, as an assistant. She has kicked her own ass and she's really done the work, okay? But first of all, we're going to start with WoW. And WoW is a Wild One weekend, which is the third one that I'm running in July this year in the Lake District. And it's an amazing weekend that cannot be described unless you partake. What do you think, Catherine?
Yeah. Over to me. WoW weekend is how I started with you. So I remember Lorraine, who's coming on next week. I did my yoga training with Lorraine. She's here. And back in 2017, and she actually recommended you, and she said, I think this is right up your street, and she sent me the Facebook links to your first WoW weekend. And what got it for me was the connection to nature, and I'd never seen that before. I'd never seen anyone embracing nature in that way, and using nature as a self-development method or modality, so I'd been searching for all my life really through different modalities and stuff that was quite typical that what other people do, spending lots of money, addictive personality, doing lots of things, trying to find that.
It's okay to swear here, by the way. It's fine.
Thank you. Trying to find that.
It's not about that.
Yeah. I had got to a point where I had pretty much felt I'd tried everything, and nothing had that sustainable joy and happiness for me. Nothing that I sought out, nothing that I did sustained me long term. And I absolutely love immersing myself in nature. Walking is my biggest passion, mountains and so on. And when Lorraine had sent me this link to your stuff, I just thought, wow.
Yay!
Yay! Yeah.
This is what we do all weekend. We just run around shouting wow, and everything's fine.
And I was tentative because I'd been there before with so many other things, and yet what struck me about your stuff was obviously the immersion in nature, which just sang to me, but it was your ability to say, this is on you.
Yeah.
You're doing the work.
Yeah.
This is your responsibility. And I was like, ooh. Oh, if you don't mind me saying so, who are you?
No, please do say what you want. That's important.
You know, who is this person? And it got me really intrigued because
and slightly pissed off at a few points, I think.
But admittedly, I was always searching for somebody else or something else to go, there you go, there's the magic bullet, there's the there's nirvana, there you go, you spend this, you do this, you go here, you do that, you say that, you try that, and then you're fixed. There was this quick fix mentality. Totally. And you were and are so refreshing, and it was making me so intrigued, because I thought, maybe this is it, So admittedly as well, there was that attachment to what you offered at the time. Because obviously I've moved well beyond that now, and taken self-responsibility. So there was obviously those elements of, oh, this might fix me, and not a full appreciation of really just how much I need to step into my accountability and my self-responsibility. But through all of your stuff, WoW 1 was just fantastic. It opened my eyes to a deep sense of knowing that I can be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've seen that in you working through, and I have to really say, it's a big thing about what I do with people. And hi, Vicky, by the way, nice for you to be here, all the way from the States. What I have to say is that when you work with me, I'll stand by your side, but I won't hold your hand. And it's only because that won't help you. That it just won't help you. It won't support you. And I think with you at the beginning, and I know you won't mind me saying this, there was a kind of a bit of resistance, but you kept on pushing through it. And really now, if you look back, WoW 1 was in March last year, and we had WoW 2 in October. We've got WoW 3 coming up in the list, the links below that Joel's putting up, in July. And I've seen your transformation. Physically, in yourself, you look younger, and you're just really developing, and you're taking responsibility for your life, which is the biggest thing that we can do. And you're really blooming. You're blooming like the flowers that you're taking, and it's great to see. Continue to share if you need to blab a bit more. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously well, maybe not obviously to some people watching, but obviously with the WoW 1, you did the Maiden Mother Crone trilogy offer, and that was where I stepped onto, working with your flower and essences, and again, that just blew my mind, and I did Maiden Mother Crone all the way through before we got to WoW, and all of a sudden it was like doors opening, and questions being asked of me. And now when I look back, it's easy for me to see that progress when you're in it. Sometimes you're in all of this, oh my God,
I like what Joel says. Joel says you look younger, more embodied and clearer. And I do notice that you're a lot clearer around here, and you've gone for it, and although at times you've questioned it, and I must admit, out of everybody, and she won't mind me saying this because I know she won't, out of everybody, you know, she's probably had the most tears. She's probably had the most blurts out in the groups. She's a big personality in the group because she's a big personality. I know she won't mind me saying that. And then there are times where she'll just go and she'll retreat into herself, which is, again, brilliant. But it's about accepting that side of you. And you weren't doing that at the beginning, if you remember. You were very much about, I'm in, I'm out, where should I be? But now you just allow yourself to be in or be out. And you're still there, you're still present. And this is just a fine example of not only somebody who does the work, because that's so important, it's how the flower essences work. So if you can tell us a little bit, Catherine, about the one-to-ones and how they sort of supported you with WoW, and just say, you know, you weren't forced into doing one-to-ones. Nobody's ever forced in from WoW to do one-to-ones. It's your choice. You've worked with me in a community. You felt the energy. I would like to do this with you on a one-to-one basis. So what led you to do that? And what's the difference between maybe doing the one-to-ones and not doing the one-to-ones? Because you've experienced both sides.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say, in my experience, the WoW weekends are dipping your toe into that, and certainly, you know, that you can stay with that. For me, I knew if I was going to commit to this path fully, if I was going to commit to a journey of self-discovery, of really living my life for me and being me, then I had to keep pushing forward, and not in a way of being hard on myself, but of gently coaxing and sometimes pushing and going, come on then, you know, because I'm very much talk the talk. You know me. But I was like, am I going to walk the walk? Now, I'd always known that you did the one-to-one programs when I started, you know, with your stuff in December 17. And I was all throughout 2018, or most of 2018, it was almost like tapping me on the shoulder going, you know, you're going to have to go there next. You know, you're going to have to do that next. And I never felt brave enough to commit. And it was the commitment. So I could have signed up. I could have paid you the money. I could have said, yeah, we'll do these calls. But it was the commitment to do the work on me and my commitment between calls. And I knew I didn't have that commitment last year. I had the commitment to WoW. I had the commitment to taking the elixirs, you know, myself. But I knew that I had to step up a gear. And I remember Lorraine, again, if she doesn't mind me saying so, she turned around to me, and I can't remember, and she said, you either made the decision to continue or you know, you've come this far. And I thought, yeah, and I ain't going to stop now. And then I signed up in December 18, so 12 months after. But I knew that if I'd signed up last year, I wouldn't have been as committed. And you have to have that determination regardless, because your world around you changes. You change. And I cannot. WoW weekends are fabulous, but the one-to-ones are tailored to you and are focused in on the detail that you want to look at. And they're very, very relaxed between me and you know, and I'm sure every other client you have on a one-to-one, they're bespoke to you and what's happening at that time. And I would not be where I am today without your one-to-ones. I know that. I could have carried on quite easily, still taking elixirs through my own choice, which are wonderful, still coming on WoW weekends, but never breaking that through that, you know, that there's something there with the one-to-ones that you go right to the heart of it.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
The heart of you.
Yeah, it's really personal.
Yeah, and if you think, one thinks about, I mean, I'm 44. I don't look it, but I'm, you know,
that's what I'm saying.
For 44 years, for 40 whatever years, I've had this persona. And a lot of the time I've been myself, yes, but a lot of the time I haven't. And a lot of the time I've been a clown or an actress or all these layers, all this armory of protection, all this being somebody who I think I should be because society tells me to be, or relationships tell me to be, or family tell me to be. And in the end, who am I? Who am I? And the one-to-ones are getting me there, have got me there. It will always be an ongoing process, but the one-to-ones, God, thank God I signed up to do them with you, because I see me for who I am, and I'm developing the confidence to express that regularly, daily.
And remember, we're always traveling through this journey. So, you know, people who think that they're going to get there will never get there. And when they do, they will be miserable, because it's all in the journey. And you know, it's all in the journey. It's about making your journey as beautiful and as precious and as wonderful. And then when you get to that point, you know, I'm a massive Abraham Hicks fan. I have to shout out to Abraham, because a lot of the time, if it hadn't been for Abraham, I don't think I'd have been here. I'd have jumped off that rock 3 years ago and not come back. But so I will say, you know, a lot of when I speak in the wild, or when I do speak out, I will drop in the odd Abraham thing, because I do believe that there is a real strong sense that if you're constantly looking to get to the end of something, well, good luck to you, because that's not life. Life is about the journey. And I know it's very cliche, but you've got to enjoy the journey. If you do not enjoy the journey, then, you know, you're stuck, basically.
What's the point?
You really,
What's the point?
is what the point. So go on, keep going.
No, that's what I was about to say. But the journey is about joy. So even when you are in the depths of despair through doing this work, because, you know, truthfully, honestly, one will be if one follows this path, because you've got to get rid of all the shit that you've collected. So you're bound to have to face more shit.
I'll look at that a minute. Change the phrase of "I've got to get rid of." You don't necessarily have to get rid of. What you have to do is learn to deal with it better. So it's always about turning it around very quickly. And, you know, when we talk about those shadow emotions that I deal with with all of you a lot with, and we all have them, and we all need to respect them, and we all need to look at them in a way that is positive to us. When we turn those shadow emotions around, and we do it as quick as we can, we'll realize that there are contrasts in our lives that are precious to us. And without the contrasting moments, like within our shadow, how can we enjoy the good times? How can we ever enjoy the good times? If you were constantly happy, you would be miserable.
Well,
you'd be so bloody bored, you know. Allowing myself to realize this recently, but Laura, again, it takes time. It takes time, and it's not something that comes overnight. We all think we should have this now. You know, it's taken you years to be conditioned. It's taken you years to have all that stuff piled on you, no matter, you know, what you've taken in. And on top of that, the flower essences, how they work is they work with the auric field. So when you're taking them, they're clearing the space around you. So as they're clearing this space around you, they're also clearing that person that lives with you as well. And they're clearing your children. And you'll notice, as you've noticed the difference in your external world when as well as your internal world. So let's just move on a little bit about the support groups. As of yet, there's no link to the support groups. You have to join my newsletter to actually part of the support groups, but that is coming very soon when I find a space in my life to create what I need to create for the support groups. But you have been a massive part of the support groups as well. So we've done 3 support groups so far. And when I'm talking about support groups, I'm talking about at the very, very beginning, when people were taking flower essences, and there's a few people I have in mind. I'm not going to name any names. They're not here, but they came to me and they said, I'm taking the flower essences. I'm going through healing crisis. Now, a healing crisis can vary from 1 to 10. We've all been through healing crises if we do the work. And it's a normal part of healing. However, sometimes people need to have the support. And I noticed that as time went by, we're taking the flower essences, and I was getting loads of damn emails, and I was thinking, you know, this is also not in the time. And I'm one of those people who's very empathic, and I will sit on my emails for hours and hours, and Joel will say, get off, you're constantly on your emails. And I want to support, or I want to message, and I want to say, hey, it's okay. But I had to do a lot of work on my own boundaries, and I had to make sure that I was supporting people so that they were getting what they needed off me, but also off the community. But it was also about me creating a community that I could work with, that I could enjoy, as well as you could enjoy. So what we do now, every other month, at the moment we're in the middle of Red Columbine, which is our third support group. We've taken Wild Pansy and Viola, we've taken Snowdrop, and we've taken, this is Red Columbine this this April, coming to the end of it. And every single flower essence has been the most amazing experience, but we're doing it in a Facebook group, so we do it in a support group. One of my big things about doing this is to get people to see how powerful the power of the flower is and how they work. And in the support groups, we can see, as we come together, all our different journeys. We can share, we can not share, and we can just be held in a space of complete unconditional love and support. And it's just, I've never ever been in a group, and although yes, I facilitate the group, most of you lead the group forward, and I can see that, is that I feel so much love in that group that there is no judgment. And even if it goes on behind, who knows, but it's just held, we're all held in that space where we can say what the hell we want, and it doesn't matter. We can lie what we want in tears, in a snotty mess, and it's just the most amazing feeling. And how is it for you? Because you've been in all three.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit of a loner
but aren't many people that are in the support group, so that's what that's a big thing. Thanks for saying that, because most people that are in the support groups will actually come in and say, I'm such a loner, I don't know why I'm here.
Yeah.
Loner reflecting back at you here.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And again, I think that lonerness, if that's a word, was about putting on a mask. And so coming into the groups I was able to shed more layers, but in a different way, because it was about realizing that I am not alone in this. Again, going back to societal stuff and, habitual stuff and conditioning, you believe a certain way, you have a certain perspective, but being able to have that connection with people who either are going through similar or indeed going through different things, but you can learn from that just as much as people who are going through similar things. Having that connection and support just makes you realize that, well, for me personally, I'm not going mad. I'm actually okay. I'm actually doing really well. I've got this, and keep going and believe in yourself and keep going with the confidence, because I think you can do as much as you want in your own home, but unless you do like the one-to-one, or you come out to WoW, or definitely the support groups as well, where you have that connection for over a month, actually more than a month, because obviously the out-breath on the second month, you're not then putting yourself out there. And I think you can be yourself in your own home, but are you really being yourself when you go out there as well? And having that ability to express yourself in the group gives you your truth, gives you your confidence to go out and be the same. And that, for me, that's been a very personal thing, that I can take that confidence from the group and actually be like that outside of the group, outside of my home, with my relationships, with external to the one I have at home, with my partner. So, it's a confidence giving thing, and knowing that I am not alone. And this said, because I'm very much, have I imagined that? Or is that right? And so when I first started working with you, I always doubted my intuition, but actually, obviously working with you over this time with all of the things I'm doing, but particularly the groups, I trust my intuition, because we share so much together. And then someone comes, you're not looking for sort of like approval in the groups at all, but somebody might come back and go, oh my God, this really resonates with me, or goodness, or I see someone else saying something and I think, my goodness, that really connects with me. And so it's knowing that you're not alone. It's really, I can't emphasize that enough.
I have to acknowledge what Joel says, because you are expressing this really, really well. And as somebody who kind of facilitates it, it's not always easy for me to, you know, I'm better off sitting like a gnome by the flowers and just crazy. But you're expressing it in words, which I think because I'm so close to it, it's often very hard for me to sort of see it, because I'm the creator of it. But when you lot come in from the outside and you share it with a group of 2,000 people here that are on this page, who can listen to it and understand that, you know, wow, this is literally wow, that, you know, we've got real genuine people who have done this work, and that it really does help and does support you. But you have to be prepared to put the work in. Now, with the support groups, how they run is they run every other month, and we do a flower essence of, I have to say, it's been of my choice lately for the last 3, just because I've been called to do certain ones, and so far they've been the right ones. So we have the in-breath, which is the month. You pay your £47, and then on top of that, you pay for the flower essence itself. And then you come into the group for the month. You take the essence with everybody. You go through your journey. Some groups are quite laid back, depending on what the flower asks me to do. Other groups, this one's been more structured, Red Columbine. It's just because that's what's been asked for. We never know. I never know until I actually ask the flower what it is that we need for this group. And then on the second month, when we've all finished, well, halfway through the month, what we do is we actually, if we want to, take a second essence, because we notice that stuff's coming up. So then if fear's coming up, then Dora's Field, you know, might be a good one for you to take the daffodil essence. It's up to you whether you take a second one to support the first one. Once they're finished, we move into the second month, where the space is held. I'm not so much active in the group, but I'm there to support as best I can. But we often find that the out breath is the time when you really start to feel the essence working. Do you agree? When you've taken the essence, and then the out breath comes, and then you start to really feel the energy of the essence. I know. I think, and you ladies down there, you can shoot up what you need to say as well, because you're in the groups. So yeah, Catherine, what were you going to say about out breath? And Joel,
I think when you're in the group, it's there's that instant sort of, oh, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. So it sort of can be firing at you all the time. And I you know, Pansy was a I want to choose my word correctly. Pansy was a slow to develop for me while I was taking it. Snowdrop was massively accelerated while I was taking it. And so there was these things sort of coming at me. And then on the out breath, there's that, and there's that ability to be able to see and feel more on the out breath, on that second month after finishing. And you can look back on your experience in that month taking it, and you see, yeah, that was that, or that's this, or, and it's like this, the second month, the out breath helps to consolidate and integrate, and it almost becomes like part of your DNA. So you have all of this month of taking it, or a little bit less, because I get through it a little bit quicker. And
right.
But then the second month is that consolidation, where if you are open, if you've done the work, if you want to continue, the best way of me describing it is it like integrates into your DNA. It becomes exactly part of you, and and you feel it, you live it, you express it, and you have that ongoing. So, I mean, even though you started your groups in December, I still feel Pansy now.
Yeah, you will do. It's like when I went to the jungle, I took when I told the story so many times in these podcasts that I've been doing, but the reason I do what I do is because of ayahuasca. And when I took ayahuasca, you walk away from ayahuasca, and ayahuasca is still there. It's still very present within you. Plant medicine holds, and it's exactly, it does. It gets into your DNA, it gets into your system, and it does the work. And this is one of my big things about doing this work, is to actually get people to, you know, this is not about getting high. This is not about going out there. This is about honoring. It doesn't matter if it's a tiny little flower that's sitting on the floor or a big plant in the jungle that you're taking. It's about honoring nature. And when you take on that essence, and when you take in that essence, the power of the flower will be revealed to you. And it might take some time, because you might be so tight, you might be so caught up, your heart might be so closed. It can take time. It's like I always say, peeling the onion layers. It takes time to drop. And you know that yourself. You've seen that in yourself. And there's times when this shit isn't working. This is rubbish. This shit does work. And I've got many different testimonials on my website and on Facebook and from my own self. And I'm really not a bullshitter. I'm one of those people that would certainly say, if it doesn't work, I'm not doing it. And why would I waste my money? Why would you waste your money on doing it if it doesn't work? But you know that it's exactly what you're saying. I never told you to say that it gets into the DNA, but it's exactly what it does. And you've explained it perfectly, because it gets into the system. And the wild pansy will still be there until she's done the work on you. And then when she stops, she'll stop. And then she might call to say, hey, you need me again. It was the same when same as when I worked with plant medicine out in the jungle. I never, ever forced myself to go. I always get called to go. And then I start to see, like when I went to Peru, and I was in Peru within 3 weeks of knowing about ayahuasca, because Peru was everywhere. Everywhere I looked, there was Peru. And within 3 weeks, I was on a flight and I was in the jungle. And that's how plant essences and plant medicine works, is that it calls you so strongly that you can't resist. You just have to go, because you know it's telling you, you need me.
Yeah.
So, and it's
and the more and the more that you immerse yourself in it, the better tuned you are to that. So, you know, it becomes easier to recognize what is calling you. It becomes easier to recognize where you are at. It actually becomes easier. I would get quite concerned about certain emotions or certain feelings I had. As I've worked with your elixirs, I still get those emotions and feelings, but I go, no, that's fine. Allow, go with it, or actually let's replace it with something else. As you've said about Abraham, let's get to the better feeling place.
Yeah.
But acknowledge it and love that part of you, the shadow or whatever, as yourself, but say that actually, you know, I can move beyond this. Or so you have this ability to be able to recognize where you are at and have a stronger intuition to know where you are going as well, and what feels right and what doesn't.
Totally agree. And just as an example, I will share this with the Silent Moon page. I don't know how long we've been on, but I'm enjoying this, and I think a lot of you are as well. So sod it, let's keep going. When you want your tea, love, let me know. That's dinner for everybody who's not here.
Yeah, tea.
So I just want to say a final example of what happened. Joel, you doesn't mind me saying this at all. And those people that are in my support groups pretty much know this, but I'm going to share this valuable piece of information that did happen in the Snowdrop group, because this is part of my work, and this is what I want to prove to people as well, that, you know, not that I have to prove anything, you know, you're there or you're not there, but I want to show how powerful these essences are by when we started Snowdrop group. Snowdrop group started with a I'm not going to give too much away, but it started with a huge bang, if you remember. There was a lot of movement, there was a lot of dancing, there was a lot of sexuality in that group, and there was a lot of expression in that group, and I have to admit the groups are very, very different. And I got a real strong sense, Joel came into the group, and I got a real strong sense, and knowing Joel, I know that I can mess around with him a little bit, that I got a real strong sense that he didn't need Snowdrop. He wasn't connecting necessarily to that energy intuitively for me. He was doing something out in America, which meant that he needed to go and stand on a stage in front of a lot of people. And I knew that Snowdrop wasn't the energy for him. So I decided that, you know, I would give him something else, but I wouldn't tell him. Now, I don't do this to anybody else. I can do this to Joel because I know that I can. But it was a guinea pig experiment, just so that I could check out how amazing these essences are. So he was in and out of the group, but not so much in the group, if you remember. He was very much kind of, oh, I feel like I have to do this, but then I don't. And I could see that it wasn't there. The connection really wasn't there. And I was kind of like a funny little child sat in the corner. And then when he came back, I sort of said to him, what, you know, how are you feeling? And he said, he described himself, and everything that he described was marigold essence, everything that he described. And I said to him, well, it's just as well, because you're not on snowdrop, you're on marigold. And he was like, really? And I said, yeah, because you needed marigold, and that's what you needed for the stage, and you needed that for your will, and obviously the yellow, and that, you know, that expression of self to stand on the stage. And he was like, no wonder I haven't connected with that group. So Joel didn't have a clue. I mean, you can write what you want down there, Joel, you're here now, but he didn't have a clue. But it was part of the experiment for me, knowing safely that I could do that, also for me to be accountable to the group, to tell them afterwards, because that's really important to me, that I tell the group that, you know, this is what happened, and it's not that I'm doing it on anybody else. I just, as me, as my mischievous child, I wanted to say, and I wanted to show you that how strongly and powerful these essences work. And you were there, so you know, and you know, you've experienced it yourself. You know, you've experienced so many different essences, I think more than anybody, Catherine. I really do.
You should see my number of empties that I need to bring to you when I see you next. I'm not, and I've said this to you before, and I'll say it again. Some of your essences are nice little, gentle, sort of, you know, coaxing.
Just like me.
Oh, you know, and some are just like bang, and like, you know, Snowdrop. I will never forget that experience with Snowdrop, and there are many others that I've had, which I've just had profound experiences for days, weeks, months with them. And sometimes I can connect with them still, even though it has been weeks or months since I took that bottle, you know.
I think Laura was another one with Snowdrop. I think she still feels Snowdrop. And you just think of that tiny little flower that actually grows in all weathers. It no matter what the weather, that damn thing's coming out, you know, and it could be snowing, blizzard, and so you think about that energy in that flower that is within you. You know, just look at the flower. What does it put up with? A lot.
But there's physical manifestations which surprised me, and actually now the stuff I'm taking now, I'm happy to say what I'm taking if you want me to, or I won't. I'm coming. Yeah, so since finishing Red Columbine, and I introduced Marigold at the halfway point, as you'd suggested about introducing a second. So I'm still taking Marigold, but I knew I had to take Maiden as well. So this is my second lot of trilogy elixirs, and I knew I had to take Maiden, and I've only been taking Maiden for the last 2 days with Marigold, and I've come out in so many spots, and I know things are clearing. I know things are, you know, as you know, my digestion is quite a key thing, and quite significant in when things change, or when I'm worried about things, or when things are manifesting, and that flares up in different ways. That's flared up.
I'm always excited when people say stuff's coming out of their skin.
Yeah,
it's the best thing ever.
This stuff works. This stuff works. It, you know, I will say that to, you know, into eternity, because you have to try it. But the thing is, you have to surrender to it. You have to be willing to surrender and say, come on, show me what I need to do, show me what I need to look at, show me what I need to change, because the flowers will show you. It's up to you to do the work. The flowers for me are, and you as well, the flowers and you together are a guide. You're like a compass, you know. Nice. And you go you're like a compass and a map, you know, and a lovely compass and a lovely map. And it's like and it's like, there you go, you know. You go there if you want, but you walk that walk, you take that route. And
Absolutely.
your route, your route is so unique to you, and it's wonderful to be able to share that with other people in your groups and at WoW. But ultimately you have to walk your own walk,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
yeah, and having the guidance of you, having the guidance of the flowers to ask those questions of you. I sense now, which is so much deeper now than it was a year ago, they ask things of me, and I don't get apprehensive or worried like I would have done. I was a bloody born worrier, me, but I look and I laugh now, and I go, you want me to go there, do you? And there's that
Yes,
sort
that's
of
how it is.
lightness and joy in amongst all the tears.
That
And
sounds very white
sometimes,
bluebell. That sounds very
yeah.
white bluebell. That
Well, I've got her. She's
yeah.
on my shelf here now.
Yes, you
So
want to connect more with nature, and you want that to happen. That's white
Mhm.
bluebell is the answer to that one. But I do think that
Yeah.
if you're as flower essence practitioners, and I'm just gonna basically kick the ball here because I don't follow rules and laws. Traditionally, we're not supposed to say that the flower essences work on a physical level. Well, actually, they do work on a physical level, because when you take them enough, you will see that a lot of the time the detox, I've taken essences where I've come out I've been red with rage, just red, just so much stuff that and if it's too much for you, it's like homeopathy, you just come off it or you just reduce the dose. There's nothing big about it, but it's amazing how it can release through your skin. And the skin is the biggest organ of the body, so it's going to come out of the body. And it's up to you whether you keep going with the same dosage or you stop and just let it happen. And there's no doubt that that's connected to everything that's going on within your system. So it was the right flower to take, and it's so. Just to bring this to a close, because we have been on for a long time now, 45 minutes. We've done quite well, Catherine. If there's anything else you want to say before I do a closure, or Joel throws up a load of links here. Thank you. I'm going to get back to all your messages at the bottom.
So much. I just wanted to add as well about manifestation, physical manifestation. Very quickly, I just remember last year when I took Violet, not your current new Violet that you've rebooted, but last year's Violet from Fountains Abbey, and I took that with Moonshadow, and by that kicked my butt. Do you know what I mean? And that I had a physical reaction in my eyes. I took the drops orally, but my eyes dilated, and I was asked the question to go deeper. And again, hugely profound, hugely profound. So this stuff works. I can't emphasize it enough. This stuff works.
Thank you,
just be open to it, because it bloody works,
Well, we know, we're getting it out there, and it's good, more people are wanting to speak to me now, this weirdo, but it's good, it's great, and I knew that would happen, and I know that it'll just grow and it'll go from strength to strength. But I'm not the only flower essence practitioner out there. I'm not the only producer. There are many, many of us. So, you have to connect with the person who's creating as well. You have to want to be around their energy. That to me is very important. We spoke many times about, water holding energy. I create the essence. I'm a vessel for the essence, and I'm a vessel for the flower. And hopefully I get the most purest healing benefits from the flower that it asks me to give through me to you, and I just have to do my best to get out of my own way at times so that I can produce what I produce. And I'm doing quite well so far, because it shows that they are working.
But I think that, I mentioned at the top of this about your uniqueness in terms of, nature and connecting to nature and all of that. But I think it's you've walked the walk as well.
Massively.
You talk from the heart. You are honest. You don't give any bullshit, and you don't take any bullshit, and then you tell people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. That's the difference as well. And so, you could have someone who does stuff, great, whatever, but if you're never really facing the truth, then what are you doing it for? And that is the difference with you as well. I genuinely mean that. I know I mean that, but I genuinely mean that you you are so honest and truthful that it can't help but make you, me, whoever, the client, become honest and truthful with themselves as well. And so seeing you having done it and doing it gives me and many other clients, I would imagine, confidence to do it, because you've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt, you know, and you're honest about it, and you don't package it up into.
I don't think I'd do you any favors if I was any different,
No,
really. And I
no.
you know, I feel the same about people that have taught me in the past. And you know, we spoke about that inner guru and that outer guru and all that stuff about, you know, who's out there. Well, it's actually, in the end, it's in here, you know, and in the end, it's this one you've got to listen to, and it's just bringing yourself back to that, you know, so no matter what practice you do. So I know Joel's put a massive amount of links up for you all to see. You've got the one-to-ones, you've got the WoW, you've got no support groups yet, but we've talked a lot about the support groups, and there is more going to come up about the support groups very, very soon, when I get to do all that lovely technology that I love. But I want to thank you, Catherine, so much for being here, and it's been great to hear you, and your explanations have been second to none. It's just brilliant that you can actually articulate what I do better than me.
Yay! Can I come and work for you?
So if you're not on my newsletter, get on it, because that's really important. There's something very special and new coming out tomorrow. I have been very busy with the flowers, and I'm also just as a heads up, the gem elixirs are stopping from the 1st of May because I want to focus more on the flower energy now. So that is also in my newsletter. And that will also be mentioned in the next few weeks, that they are available until the 1st of May to purchase. And then, bang, other than rose quartz, because it's in a lot of my combinations, I am going to just focus mainly on the flowers, because that's what I want to do. So next week, not the same time, we'll just, it's actually 2 o'clock next week. I'm going to have the lovely Lorraine, who's down there below, who's on my testimonial video for WoW. She's going to join me. She's done very similar to Catherine, but she's had a different experience, so it'll be really good to get her in to have a chat in a different way, but just how people all connect, we're all connected, and how you all just come out with your own expressions in this whole, from seed to flower. There's Lorraine. So we'll see you next week at 2 o'clock. So we will put a post up. Do share it, and thank you. Lots of love, Catherine. Please share this post, put it everywhere, just so we can all benefit from the power of the wonderful flowers around us. Thank you, love.
Bless you, and take care. Bye. Bye.